Well, it looks like I'm back again with more updates on the StartEngine fundraiser in the comments section. It looks like Nick did answer some more of Kevin's questions, and there were some more people with it's more of a troll comments, I think, but we'll start off with an obvious one, which is from Brett W. I wonder who that's supposed to be. He says, "My friend Saggy won't order one, but I can't wait for the Amico so we can all play games together. Yay! Games today you can't play together. Well, you can, just not the way you can on Amico. When I write books, by the way, I'm an author and a professional gamer. I started out small like the Amico. The Amico to me represent the best hope for unity in life. The controls are different, just like life. I rather think that this is a wonderful investment. I know Tommy can make little things seem huge, so we have lots to look forward to. Everyone just ignore all the haters and think about how you can fix your family." Well, I'm pretty sure that's not really the real Brett Weiss, since he put a video out today or yesterday. Pretty much him jumping ship and getting off the Amico bandwagon, but mildly amusing. Eric J. posts, "I'm curious about the prepaid development line on your balance sheet. What does that balance consist of? Why is it carried as a liability? Thanks." Well, that's a decent question. I don't know exactly what part of the balance sheet that would be, but I'm guessing that was the $1.5 million that they owe to ARC Electronics. But they still haven't addressed that in any of the comments or the questions about why that money is held up and what's going on with it, an update on it. I'd be curious to know. It's a lot of money. So 7 hours ago, William had said, "Looking through the comments in the briefing, there seems to be a mismatch in the marketing plan. Big time. I keep seeing mentions of a family friend, but almost none of the marketing to this point has been targeted to that segment. A recent comment says a focus is faith-based communities. I'm extremely confused on how product is being positioned there." And that's what I had said in previous videos, that they're pivoting and trying to capture every different market, and they're always changing who they're trying to draw in. So he says, "I'm not sure if any of the games mentioned here have a Christian or otherwise basis. The deep dive videos I found features games with themes of war and destruction." And that's exactly battle tanks or tank or tank battle, whatever it's called. And missile command. I don't see how that's a faith-based community would be into that. The Shark might be the only, it's the only game. The Shark and Finnegan Fox are like the only games that they've shown that doesn't portray any sort of real violence. In terms of the management team or board of directors, who represents the communities of faith? What specific games are specifically planned for people of faith? Simply having no violence, but what about the tank game? Or adult themes don't qualify for faith? These are interesting family friend motifs, but I don't see how it's going to be sold to the same demographic that shops at Christian bookstores. If faith-based communications is a focus, then why can I not find any existing or planned game content that is scripture-based? Almost all the media I can find for Amico features middle-aged men and not children. There are very few videos that show families with children, and the non-Intellivision produced content are all from people in this retro stuff. Why are those no faith-based channels talking about the product idea? Which leads to my final question. How much of your marketing budget do you plan to spend to reach the larger non-gaming market, and how much of that budget is planned for faith vertical? And that's a decent question. That's actually a really good question, because they don't have any Christian-based games. Maybe it would have been a good idea at the beginning had they targeted the demo and partnered up with a Kenneth Copeland, some type of crazy huge. I was going to say a religious cult, but I won't go there. But a crazy huge religious following. We'll go with that one, where they could have financially supported Intellivision, since they have millions, almost $1 billion. But this is just a brand new thing that they're just throwing out there, and they have no games. No Christian-based games, nothing even remotely close to that. I'm pretty sure Night Stalker is not a Christian game. So Squealer P says, "Having games based off scripture isn't very inclusive of all religions and beliefs. Faith-based families, no matter what the religion, all have something in common. And that's spending time as a family doing things like family game night. And Amico is perfect for family game night, in my opinion. Religious families also tend to be bigger, and Amico games have party games where 8 people can play." So is he... That's... Okay, Squealer, if you say so there. The hook is you're going after families with 8 kids. So not only will, if that's the case, then you'd have to buy. Well, they can only use 4 controllers, so you're usually religious families. Well, I'm just stereotyping here. Would frown upon giving their kids electronics and cell phones. So where are you going to get all these extra cell phones? And I don't see being inclusive of all religions and beliefs. So I'm guessing Dino Blaster, where they have some stereotypes in the character, like costumes and dropping bombs. That's kind of iffy there, my good friend there, Squealer P. So he tried to spin it to the positive, but that was a weak argument, Squealer. MB says, we live in a strict Christian household, and the Amico is the first any only console we have ever considered. We want our boys to quit play with themselves and start having fun playing together. Okay, I guess this is a troll comment. God bless you, Intellivision. Rob A says, well, that came out interesting. Turny smiley face emoji. So David S says, too much screen time might be equally bad for their eyesight. That's funny. That's a good troll comment. I chuckled. Rob A, 11 hours ago, posted, I suggest anyone to invest in this project to watch this video. And he posted a YouTube link to that lawyer, or former lawyer, who went over the whole Amico situation and just basically showed how poor the company is in its current state and how they've blown a lot of money. It lays down the facts. Squealer P says, more just opinion, not facts. Rob says, there's a lot of facts if you watch it. He laid out the financials in terms of the many loans. The truth hurts, I assume. Squealer says, I watched the video. He said some positive things and some untrue things. Rob A calls him out and says, what untrue things did he say? Please explain. Let's discuss this. And of course, Squealer doesn't reply because that's your typical Amico fan defense, is just pretending that there is no facts and just saying something and assuming that people will believe what they say, even though the facts point elsewhere. So Squealer is on damage control, but doing a very weak job of it. Elijah B says, a former lawyer made a 25-minute YouTube video regarding the Amico. Anyone thinking about investing in this should definitely go check it out. Is the Intellivision a scam, Amico scam? A former lawyer accountant's take. That's the video that was just previously announced in that link, and he posted the link. Rob says, I watched it. Anyone investing in the Amico will lose their money. So most people with common sense are saying, look at this. Clearly the situation is terrible. Don't invest. Our good old buddy Harold G posted like a day ago, I guess. He says that as of 7:15 Eastern, in the past 10 days, this campaign has pulled in $52 net. 10 days, almost as pathetic as the 55 to 6,000 pre-orders in 2+ years. Still feel like investing? And yeah, that's another big story of this whole thing. That no one's investing in this. It's gone flat, and things aren't looking too good for them. Christian M posted a day ago, consoles under $100 US. So he brings up the Activision flashback, the Atari flashback, Namco Arcade Blast, the Sega Genesis Mini, the NES Classic, Super Nintendo Classic. So these are just the mini consoles that included a bunch of games. And this is what Intellivision should have done, in my opinion. Or what they should have, my original idea is they should have partnered with Evercade and just make a controller for the Evercade VS and software, and let them handle the actual console. Over $200, he points out the Amico's $250, which is increasing to either $300 or $350, what Phil Adam had said in his interview. So it's $250 just for the pre-order, like the people who have pre-ordered. $300 for the Switch, $300 for the Xbox Series S, and $400 for the PlayStation 5 digital. And they just talk about how many games you can get. Mark M, who is it Mark or is it Mike? I always get confused there. Mike M or Mark M? I don't know. He says, good luck finding that PS5 digital at the $400 price, and also a repackaged 80s or 90s console prices. That's your point of contention? This would only mean anything if the Amico is only meant to play retro games. Also, for those modern systems that come with games that are based on one-year subscriptions that would force you to pay again each year. To keep those games in my book, that's renting a game and not owning it. I could take out my my Widow's 95 computer and play my floppy disk DOS games for free, but what does that have to do with a modern gaming system price comparison? I would hope you could buy 1990 tech at under $100 today. That's a comical thing here, because considering the technology used in the Amico for the is old, but it's charging for premium, the same premium price as like the Xbox and PlayStation 5, which is far more advanced. So Mark M, that's a poor comparison there. And the games that they've shown, and like they've shown games that are like free Flash games that you can play for like free, and you can buy a tablet for $50. So that'd be a better comparable. Just nice try, Mark. Yes, not Mike. Mark M. Nice try. Christian says, Mark M. Today's current consoles offer a digital library with hundreds of games you can download for under $20. I think we can both agree that $350 USD for an Amico is going to be a tough sale. It's an impossible sale. The Ouya was far cheaper. You can buy the Evercade VS, like I've shown in my other videos, far cheaper. And you can buy PS4 and Xbox One, just the last gen stuff, which is far more advanced, for a fraction of price. Or if you really want, you can find Wii's still on, used ones with bundles of games for like $100, and you can get them like 15, 20 games. So poor Mark, he tried, but he failed. Christian M had said, "Is it true the new price is now $300 to $350 USD per console?" It's all in capitals, so I had to say it funny like that. Rob said, "Yes." Squealer P says, "That comes with 2 controllers and 6 premium games." I wonder if Squealer is a troll, because calling them premium games, maybe even more. I would suggest maybe adding some Shark slap bracelets or some other cool trinkets. He's definitely trolling. So even Knicks fans are trolling people with just hilarious stuff like that. Rob A says, "Premium games is suggestive. Most look like mobile games you can play for free. Some of them are already on other systems where they cost only a few dollars. Unless you're being sarcastic." I think he's being sarcastic, because the 6 games that are included are just very average games and below average. Definitely below average. So I brought this up in previous videos, where Clubhouse games, you get 51 games for usually $30 to $50. It's on sale usually now, so even we'll say $50, and so it's like $1 a game. While these ones they're charging, well, it's free with the system. So does that mean that this is only worth $6? Like, because there's 6 packing games? I don't know. The games suck. That's all I know. And Rob A had to point out that most of today's gaming systems cost upwards of $500. This is not true. Not a single one has that cost. The new Amico price is actually close to the cost of the Switch, Xbox S, PlayStation Digital. All those systems have established gaming bases, and known games, franchises, and far superior hardware. You need to update this part amongst other misrepresentations in this section. Which is true, because it is not like the comparable would be like a $50 Leapfrog toy from your local toy store. So it's not these gaming systems, which can do a whole lot more. So our buddy Harold says, "The PS5 and Xbox Series S are also phenomenal consoles put out by massively competent companies, unlike yours, with amazing games, unlike yours, and available to purchase, unlike yours. So take that," is what Harold says. Take that. Mark M says, "Another post with true but misleading information. I write this for people that do not follow modern gaming. Yes, the prices that are posted above are true, but with a lot of missing context. All the consoles mentioned above are stripped-down versions of the primary consoles. A new PlayStation 5 is indeed $500, bucks, as you would put it, and because of the chip shortage, usually much higher in price." Why is that? I guess because it's the scalpers. The same goes with the Xbox Series X. In fact, I see this version going as much as $800 or more due to the chip shortage. What a poor argument. So because there's prices that are there's people who scalp them, we're going to use that price instead of the retail price of what a Walmart would sell it on the shelf. So if the Amico was red hot, and we'll pretend here, we know it's not, but if the Amico was so in demand, and say the stores were selling them for $350, but scalpers were selling them for $1,000, are we going to say that the Amico is $1,000? Like, come on now. So he writes, "You can get to the Xbox One console for around $300. That console is going on 8 years of age at this point, to give an idea how long the modern consoles stay expensive. The consoles being shown here have no CD drives and only play digital content, and usually no pre-built in games and only one controller. a, a decent, I guess he means decent, controller can cost on the low end $30, so at least he's giving a normal price, to average of around $50. If you want the top of the line, I just saw an Xbox controller top of the line go on sale for $130. Well, that's top of the line. You don't need top of the line. Once again, a poor argument. So I could use that same argument then when he says, because you'll need cell phones for controllers for the Amico. I can buy a really cheap old smartphone for $20, $30, or I can buy the latest smartphone for $1,000. So I should say that, you can get, it costs $1,000 to get a phone. The Switch Lite is the cheapest modern console for sure, but it is under $200, but it's stripped down to bare bones to get to that price. To bare bones. Oh wow, he's makes it seem like it's just a skeleton. It's like it's not, it's not almost exactly the same as playing the regular Switch in handheld mode. It's quite an exaggeration there. The new Switch is going for $350, but it's hard to get again with the chip shortage. What about the regular Switch, like the original Switch? Because that's still available and everywhere. At least where I live, you can buy it off the shelf. You don't have to buy scalpers prices or anything. $250 for a console with 2 controllers and 6 complete games does indeed put the Amico at the bottom price range of modern consoles, as again, 8-year-old Xbox with 1 controller is still more expensive. Lastly, the company does seem to be working on their own light version, which should be cheaper than $250, but everything is obviously fluid. Should I point out the Evercade VS, where you can get 2 controllers and a cartridge which features many games for a fraction of the price of the Amico? We don't want to bring that up? Or once again, buying a PS4 in a bundle with 2 controllers for probably the same price as the Amico? We don't want to bring that up? I like the selective, how our Mark M posts here, like how selective he is. Nick Richards says, the PS5 and Xbox Series are far above $500, but there are no other models that are less. In many cases, these lesser models only come with 1 controller and no games. If you add another controller and a couple of games, that they easily surpass $500. The point, though, is that there are gaming system models that are under $500, so we are discussing with StartEngine on how to address this sentence. I like how we're comparing with the Xbox Series S, even in the S, but X PS5 with the freaking Amico. Like, come on, the difference in power is not just like a smidge; it is light years more powerful with extremely new technology in it. It's struggling. The Amico's struggling to play battle tanks at 30 frames per second, while these other games are playing 4K games at 60 frames with ray tracing. That's such an apples to oranges comparison. So the value is just so much higher just for a little bit higher in price. And of course the Switch is the most comparable because it is the same price. They always neglect the regular Switch, and the regular Switch is infinitely more powerful than the Amico, so it's just such a poor argument. So Rob has taken offense to this. He has 3 posts here. First one is saying $14.99 for a third-party Switch controller on Amazon. Most of them are like 20, like half decent ones are 25 to 50, but it doesn't even matter. What about the price of an Amico controller, which we've only seen at 80 American? So this next post is, and you claim this company, well, we'll start at the bottom here. Not true in your statement, very misleading. These are the very reasons why many are canceling their Amico pre-orders. You can buy a Switch right now from Best Buy, Walmart, or Amazon for the suggested MSRP. You can also buy third-party controllers for under $20. As for the Xbox S and PS5 digital, those so-called stripped-down versions of the flagship systems still outperform in the Amico in all areas. They can also play all Xbox and PS5 games as their respective flagship models. Moreover, the cost is still under $500. What are you referring to? I'm guessing he's writing resellers selling units far above the MSRP. So your last point is irrelevant, bordering on misinformation. Last, you can buy a PS5 or an Xbox Eon with it being hard to get. With it being hard to get is, I think, what he's trying to write. You cannot purchase an Amico, a system running 2015 data technology inside selling for the price of a Switch. And that's what I just said. Like, it's old technology. You can buy tablets for so cheap that run better than the Amico for like $50. So it's such a bad value. You're right, and you claim the company is working on a light version of the Amico? This is not true. How can that be when the original system is not even in full production as of yet, and the company is $7 million in debt? This is the kind of lies and that lead people not to trust this company. Please show us proof that the company is planning on making an Amico Lite. We all know what's going to happen here. When this system fails, the Amico powers that will blame everyone but themselves. They'll blame the haters, YouTubers, Santa Claus. You're going to blame Santa? You name it. Well, I guess they're faith-based, so they're probably going to blame Santa Claus. They will not take responsibility for the poor mismanagement of the company and raising the price to $350. That will most definitely kill any chance of the Amico succeeding. And Rob's just telling the truth there. He's just telling it how it is. So Mark M says, wow, guys, what a great argument you just stated yourself that to get a second controller for the top tier systems, you need to buy a third-party one, not Sony, Microsoft, or Nintendo brand controllers. So yes, as is stated, you need to go buy a separate product to play in-person co-op. And yes, like many other products, you can find cheaper and he spelled knock wrong, knockoff brands. The point is, you need to add extra cost to the base price of console to play in-person two-player. Does this guy not realize the Nintendo Switch comes with 2 Joy-Cons? I don't care if people do not like the controller, and that's their opinion. I like the controller, but I have the ability to play two-player games without purchasing anything else using the Joy-Cons. I love how that's a double standard. Also, you have to buy cell phones to have more than 4 people, or to buy extra controllers for the system, because it only comes with 2 controllers. So if you want 3 controllers, you either have to buy a $1,000 cell phone, or you have to buy a $80 Amico controller. So let's not screw around with the numbers there, buddy. And you do make a great point that the stripped down and 8-year-old models are quite capable of playing most games. That's the point Amico's making. All the power of these modern consoles is not needed to create good, fun, engaging experiences in gaming. Wasn't this the guy who just said that the mini consoles, like the Super Nintendo Mini and Sega Mini, they're old gamings and they suck? Those are good. You don't need the high advanced graphics or anything to have fun, is what he just said. So why not just buy the Super Nintendo Classic, the SNES Classic, which has pretty looking games still, like they're nice to look at and they're fun. You just said that you don't need the latest graphics for fun. So once again, or was that Squealer? Either way, these guys can't get on the same page there. So the Amico is never going to try to outpower Sony and Microsoft. That's a pointless endeavor. To give an analogy, the Amico is like a van built for families. The Xbox and others are like sports cars. Yes, they go 0 to 60 in a flash, but what does that mean to a family of 6? What about the Nintendo Switch? Keep going back. They always want to pretend the Switch does not exist. It comes with a console with 2 controllers, Joy-Cons, way more games, and you can buy third-party controllers or the official controllers, but third-party controllers for cheap. The Amico, from what I have read, as I have no connections to Intellivision at all, can run games that it wants to create. What the hell does that mean? It can run the games that it wants to create. That makes no... Okay, I guess so. I'm pretty sure the Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony can run games that it wants to create as well. Because clearly it barely runs Battle Tanks, which it created. I've played games for 30 years, and looking back at the times I had the most fun playing, most of those were when I was younger. Part of that is growing up, but I think many people would agree that modern gaming with all its bells and whistles is losing, I think he means losing, some of its fun. Sure, there are great experiences out there, but overall gamers are having less fun. What's he basing that on? The fact that with the current day, there is so much more software being sold compared to past days. Where's the numbers that back that up? We could have a good discussion about how innovation does not mean bigger processors and how accessibility to gaming can be improved, and that would be fun, but I doubt that is the purpose of this thread, on this thread. So this guy is saying that the games are not fun anymore, are less fun. People are having less fun. I'm finding the opposite based off what I've read and witnessed. I think the issue now most people have is there's so much games, it's just you can't even keep up. That's usually the issue that we have, is like there's so much awesome games that you can't even keep up with all the fun that there is. Like, you just can't keep up. And the hardware sales back those numbers up. But there's way more consoles sold these days, and software sales, it's not even remotely close to like the olden days, how much software is sold now compared to then. Where is he getting that from? I wish Intellivision the best, as creating something different is super hard and times are tough that we live in. I don't have money to invest, so all I can give is encouragement. I do think what you guys are building has a market, and I hope you get to that market. I think gaming by bringing people together is the best part of games, period. Rob, Mark, your entire post to reply doesn't answer the question. You made the claims that these consoles cost over $500, and that's not true. The Amico will sell for $350 and has the 2016 hardware inside. The so-called stripped-down versions of the consoles mentioned are the same price and have the ability to play all the games that their flagship models can. You made a claim about controllers. It's been answered if a consumer is looking to save money, which is ironic, as you're claiming the Amico is such a good deal. And he has lots of dots there. So Mark, Mike, whatever the hell his name is, trying hard to defend, and it's just, come on. Like, if there's sick... You can go, like, people are not that naive. They know what the Nintendo is. So your target market is the clueless gamer, which is so minute. And you're hoping that those clueless gamers, when they go to retail, because I assume they would never go online, because if you go online, you would know all this stuff, is that the retail store clerk or person that works at the store wouldn't tell that person, hey, we also have this thing called the Nintendo Switch, which has, and it shows a massive amount of games, and it does all this stuff and way more. Like, Mark is trying, he's failing. Rob also says,